Broker and Andrea Broker.
Anybody else? You're okay, you can hear me over there?
Oh, yeah.
Declaration of interest, dispensation, or if anybody you remember it, if afterwards you can always tell the clerk. And it doesn't mean say if you can remember it now you can say it, but if it doesn't, 2, 3 days, 1 day, it doesn't matter how you highlight it. Thank you very much. Chair, close the meeting for the public session.
Public questions, did you say?
Yes, public session's open now.
Thank you. Minutes dated and approved by Council from the 16th of December 2025 state, another resident wants to bring to attention that Council still hasn't sorted using the donation from the Vera Heath donation that was given in October 2022. That was me that raised that. Can the Council please advise what is happening with this issue and the donation made over 3 years ago, please?
It's actually on the agenda for the next burials meeting, which is on the 10th of March.
Thank you for that. It has been on the agenda for a very long time.
One of the documents that you've circulated, it suggests that the previous clerk was allowed to be sole signatory and make payments independently, and that it didn't matter if a signatory did have a conflict of interest. Can you confirm that this is correct and the council thought that this was acceptable?
What I can confirm is that the council have recently been in a transition of financial change where we were moving from cheques to online banking. This sole signatory was only for a few months. I have picked it up. Whether the council were fully aware of the situation, I do not know, and I will not comment if they approved of it or not. That's not my place to say, but it's been picked up and that's why it's on the agenda, so that we can rectify that along with new financial regulations.
Good, thank you.
Anybody?
On the 27th of January, council has agreed that the acquisition, holding and intended use of Mill Lane garages is exercised under section 120 Property Land Powers of the Local Government Act 1972 on the basis that the land is required to support the council's functions in improving local parking provision, highway safety and amenity in an area experiencing significant parking pressure, including the presence of a school and the absence of a footpath or verge. So with respect to the legislation, can the council please confirm that those hiring the garages are required to keep a vehicle in them which otherwise would have been parked on Mill Lane? If the garages were permitted for storage, not to include a vehicle, would the parish council be in breach of the legislation? And how does the parish council intend to police this to avoid tenants using garages solely for storage and not for a vehicle? Will the parking arrangements reflect those being considered at Cheddleton Community Centre?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we will keep this in mind when we come to that section of the agenda. What we've discussed so far, it's not about the vehicle having to be inside the garage. Obviously, there's size restrictions with garages and newer type of vehicles. However, we are looking at the parking in the actual area opposite the garages and relining it to provide more spaces and putting it in the agreement that those residents are not getting a parking space as well as the garage, and they're not to constantly use that as their own personal driveways.
Could you explain what you mean by opposite?
So the lands, there is potential to have, if the lines were changed.
Within the plot?
Yeah, within the plot.
11. I've been and had a look. And from the garage, opposite the garages on the other side of the wall, there are parking bays, which I would have thought would have been for the people with the garages. But there is 11 I counted. There's some at the end of the garage, I think there's 3, and there's 8 along the wall. And if you park there, you're not blocking any garages. There's more than enough room. I've tried it. There's more than enough room to somebody to get out the garage with their vehicle and somebody who parked opposite.
Who knocked the wall? You didn't knock the wall, did you?
No.
No, you did nothing.
In the Statement of Internal Control, it says that the only employee employed by the council is the clerk. So what about the gardener, the handyman and the caretakers? Are they independent contractors?
Yes.
And when are their contracts up for tender? Do you know? Is it done 3 years or 12 monthly?
Theirs will come to an end and that'll be up for discussion at the end of next April, so April 27th. Get my date right. But yeah, right, so 2020.
So is it 12 monthly or?
We've confirmed it until that time,
Yeah.
and then in the next year I'll be looking at all contracts and making new agreements up and making sure that we've refreshed on absolutely everything.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just giving myself a little bit of time. Sorry.
Just following on from that, there's a contractor and quite a few of the councillors at one of the meetings previously to this one didn't know what he actually does. And I think it was Tom what said that there was a list available. I just wondered if all the councillors had seen that list, because he's been granted a pay rise, and you know, I just wondered if all the before he got his pay rise, have all the councillors seen what he actually does?
It's been discussed. There hasn't been a typed up list that's gone around. It's on my to-do list to refinalise everything and speak to them and make sure that we're very clear on both sides what's definitely happening. But there has been pre-agreed agreements that have been signed, and it's been like a rolling contract on that signed agreement. So I am looking at getting a fresh one for each year. So every year it's re-signed.
Yeah, because I do know at the Bagnall Parish Council, it all goes out to tenders and
Yes.
everything goes to tender, all the contracts.
So we can do that, but things out to tender.
I mean, it can be a discussion in council. However, it depends on how much the contract value is, whether it has to go to tender or not. And our financial regulations now state at different levels. So if it doesn't go above a certain amount, then it will go to tender. We'd get so many quotes
What is that
instead.
amount?
Yeah.
Do you have a figure on that? How much it would be before it goes to?
Before it goes to
Yeah.
tender, the public contracts is 25,000 plus VAT. And that's for the full term, so if we did it over 3 years, it would be 3 years worth altogether. You can't split it.
Yeah. So all the councillors will know what everybody actually does.
Yeah,
Going forward.
I hope so. Can I add something?
12.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we got one complaint really, which is nobody taken over on. Because one or two people, they got the self-employed, they pay the stamp duty on their national health, everything, they go to accountant as well. And last time when we were doing their assessment, and somebody said, well, give them minimum wage. And I thought it was unfair. So he came to me and I said, I'm sorry, you know, I can't do anything because I've been dealt with. What I'm trying to say at the moment, because if you have you put a plumber there with the boiler, Sunday he charge double. If you can overtime, it's costing him £100. And one of the man is working steel, I'm talking about. And he's working here, and he just got here £16 to give him £1. And you have to do the count, you have to do holidays, you pay as well, as himself. And I think that's unfair.
That's not how a tender works, though, is
And
it?
she said to me, well, we'll look at it again.
What's stamp duty got to do with
I
contractors?
mean, not stamp, many you guys want stamps.
But
I was on line
Sorry
now,
about
so.
that.
my understanding is with the tender is that somebody would put in a price, and that's the price, and they would build in, you know, different terms with if I've got to come in on an emergency on a Saturday, then it will be this or whatever. But that's all agreed as part of the tender process. So, and if that's done every 3 years, did you say that tender?
It depends whether the council have decided.
Right.
I was just trying to say that if it's say 20 grand a year,
Yeah.
then we would have to put that out to tender if it was
Yeah.
over a 3-year
Yeah.
contract, because it'd be actually 60 grand that we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
So at the minute we don't go over the limits, and we've extended their contracts for
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
Mainly because we've been very happy with them, but also we need a continued service, and I'm doing a lot of different things at the minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But any like costs, like so all the things about call out and that would be part of the tender process,
Yes.
wouldn't it? So
And we currently don't have
Yeah.
charges.
yeah, it's not an on top cost. That is when somebody puts a tender in, they put a price in
Yes.
to fulfil certain duties. You can't then turn around and say, I want extra, because that's what you've tendered.
Can I
Yeah.
explain to you the previous process when Louis was there, is any job we do, it come back to us very like, so we had a one price, and I said we definitely have a 3 estimates, and then we take one up. It always comes onto the council, what the work going to do, and then.
So you didn't get a fixed price tender previously?
No. As far as I'm concerned, we were asking on that. We like that.
No, but then
No,
the
so that
tender
contract-
though that you took, you would get a fixed price and certain terms and conditions attached to that. But it's from what Councillor Ahmed's saying. But then there was little add-ons.
There's two issues in this. If you wanted to ask for the quote, give the quote. I mean that's ending, right? You have to don't increase up and down, right? And if you ask my estimate, then this to the provision on that. Is any problem or anything, then they can charge you extra.
That was the agreement of the tender that you accepted.
No, what I'm saying to you, you ask the tender, can you give us a quote? You know,
Yeah.
what it's going to cost.
Yeah,
And if that cost is suitable, that's it.
and that's it. So, but you're saying that currently they've put in a tender, they've won the contract, but then if they want a little bit more,
No, I didn't say that.
no, that's what you said.
No, I did not say that. I said,
Did you say?
Well, it's on the video anyway, so
Yeah.
let's listen
Yeah.
to that later.
what I said, you know, what you got is a quote mean is, that's it.
No, we're talking post-tender. That it.
I think you're probably not the best to explain it.
Well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
No. No.
So
We're lucky, yeah.
previously,
Yeah.
we've been asked to quote for the work. The current this year is we as a council, especially on one contract, felt that as national standard living wage is going up, he would be paid below that, which is why as a finance committee he did not ask for a rise. We thought it was only fair, considering most contractors are paid a lot more, is that we pay minimum wage and that it doesn't get paid under.
But that's a wage. This is a
This is
tender.
a wage. How many hours?
Hour. No, per hour.
How many
of
hours?
work, because he gets paid a certain amount per hour, and it wouldn't be fair
Right. Okay.
to pay under that.
So was the tender done on how many hours he works rather than the work he does?
He's got a job list to do, and
Yeah.
some things, if he has to do more hours,
Right.
there's allowances of what he's allowed to do
Okay.
up to an amount. He always
That's not a
comes
tender.
under it.
That's not a tender,
That's
is
not a
it?
tender.
That's not a fixed price tender, though, is it?
So So he's allowed to do certain jobs.
Yeah.
He tells us how many hours he's done on that
Okay.
job, so we know, and we can keep a time
Okay.
record to prove like his worth. So.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with that?
Not particularly.
Well, we want best value for money, don't we, really?
We give
We
you
do,
that
and we want to know what they are actually doing for that money and how long it's taken them to do for that money.
Especially during the winter.
When the grass doesn't need mowing.
He gets
Yes.
paid for the sound, doesn't he?
Well, every month.
So the payments are every month. There is changes month by month, which is why they're not paid as staff.
Okay.
So they have certain jobs to do, and they have to come to us if there's an additional job like a hedge cutting, and that has to be approved. But there is a certain budget they have to keep within.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. I've written to some parish councillors about item 26 on the agenda. What I wrote to you about was some observations and questions concerning the proposal to mount solar panels on the highly pitched north-east facing roof of the community centre instead of the much lower pitched south facing roof. The amended proposal has been approved via a delegated decision and a non-material amendment with SMDC. However, the NMA was originally submitted last summer, which stated the reason for the move was to gain more solar power. It is a scientific fact that north-east facing yields very little solar energy, whereas south facing yields the best. So that statement on the NMA isn't true. It is clear from reading the minutes and attending meetings that the high-pitched roofed option has been submitted because it's easier. However, I'm asking you, the councillors, to consider the visual impact of a project will have on the conservation area of Cheddleton. Can you pass that? There's different ones, if you can pass it round. If you look at the pictures that I'm passing round, you'll clearly see how the solar panels sited on this roof will destroy the conservation area. I refer to the original conservation report that was drawn up, and it states the land west of Ossers Lane and of the community centre is included in the conservation area because of the contribution it makes as the background to the church and older part of the village in this view. Unsympathetic alterations and infilling could seriously affect the character of the village, and public participation is essential. So my question to you is, when you come to this item on the agenda, will you please think about the beautiful surroundings that we're all privileged to have within our parish? I ask that you consider that easier is not always better, not just aesthetically, but also financially. Financially, you are going to gain more, despite what the NMA said, you are going to gain more solar energy from south facing, which was your original proposal, to your north facing. And I ask you to consider, most importantly, what precedents the parish council will be setting for the future preservation of the conservation area. If you've installed a potential eyesore on that large pitch roof, what prevents the same happening anywhere else in this area? Did you want to just... You've got all my questions, haven't you? Yes, thank you.
I'm not going to answer right at this moment.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to discuss it more at the point, if that's
That's,
okay.
yeah, I just wanted to just
No,
let
you
people
need to-
see.
You need to tell us what you think so we can really
Yeah.
digest
Yeah.
that and
Yeah.
think about that when we come to that point.
Okay, thank you.
On the 28th of October last, at the Planning and Amenities Committee meeting, a commitment was made by the Parish Council to assist Mr Podmore particularly as one of their own councillors is closely associated with the landowner from whom he is experiencing great difficulties. The parish councillor is also a district councillor, and in his campaign for re-election in 2023, it was stated by his party that the councillor intends to improve his local district with determination, communication and respect. It's been 4 months since Mr Podmore raised the issue, and 4 months since the parish council, this parish council, made their commit to assist Mr Podmore. Can the parish council confirm what steps they have taken to demonstrate their commitment to Mr Podmore? And can the parish council confirm whether they consider that the said councillor has done everything they can do to resolve the situation for Mr Podmore?
Anybody want to answer this?
Chair, if I may, I had anticipated this coming up under public questions at the planning meeting. Conversations are happening in the background, and the interventions that are happening are threefold. 1, not to escalate matters. 2, to eliminate tensions. And 3, to reach an amicable solution. Things are moving, but that's all I can say at the moment. And that's all I will say at the moment.
You'd have to be involved in these conversations.
Not at this minute because it might jeopardise our next action.
Absolutely.
Sorry, for those who are new to the meeting then, I don't even know who the parties are to this what seems like to be presented as a problem. Would I know who they are, please? It's a simple question.
It's a very delicate subject at the minute, and I can't really say
Why not?
all the names involved because
But I have no knowledge, so I can't contribute even to the meeting if I don't know anything. Do you see my position?
I can, yeah, can you see the, unfortunately, I can't just be naming names and saying who may or may not.
So you
being
presented us with a
negatively
piece of paper.
Sorry, I
That's-
presented
It's
it,
not
Jan.
the public access.
I'm sorry, I don't even know where this is, the location. It's
Yes.
a simple question.
I understand it's not officially on the agenda, it's something
Right,
the member
okay.
of public's brought to the meeting.
Right.
There is stuff going on in the background. Unfortunately, if we divulge all the information at this stage, it will interrupt that and may stop some of the processes happening that we're trying to help this resident with. So I really don't want to jeopardise anything at this stage.
So it's not on the agenda? This
No.
is-
It's something what keeps coming up every.
Normally comes up with the planning
I mean,
meeting.
there's an elderly gentleman who's suffering big time.
Has the parish considered any mediation for this person?
Yes, there's been things happening, but as we say, we don't want to escalate tensions. There is certain parts in minutes of meetings, but as we're progressing further into this and more in depth, that's all I can say. I'm very sorry.
It's okay, but clearly this has been put forward as a plea for help. So if it keeps coming up every week at your, or whenever your parish meetings are, surely that if that is raising the stakes a bit higher for discussion.
Yeah, we are really trying. It is a struggle as a parish council because it's private land and we're getting other people and other organisations involved and agencies involved. So there is discussions.
So this is why I raised the word mediation.
Yes, that is happening. Mediation is happening and we're trying to find solutions. We are trying.
Forgive me,
yeah.
it's just presented,
No.
it's got no names on it, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, we have discussed it more in the past, but because of the progress now, unfortunately, we've got to keep a bit quiet.
That's your brief.
Yes, hopefully we'll have more information at next meeting.
That'd be great. I can pass it on to you.
I was just going to offer, do you want me to summarise for the people that haven't been at previous meetings without mentioning names? I can summarise the circumstances if that helps.
Yeah.
Having had the authority from the gentleman that's suffering?
I think so.
I can't say yes as the part because if you want to discuss it after the meeting, then that is up to you as members.
I'm not allowed to then.
So it's not on the agenda, but we can't discuss it even as a members of the public.
Yes, and I'm saying maybe after the meeting that's a more appropriate time for you to discuss it between each other. But I can't say yes, go ahead and discuss something because it wouldn't be appropriate as a
Can
part.
I just ask one more question? Has it ever been on the agenda?
Loads of times.
On the planning agenda and then the full council.
If I may say, something, I was basically trying to speak to. No.
It's been going on 18 months.
Is there any other questions regarding anything else?
Just record that we've been told that we can't speak on that.
Nothing?
Okay, let's move on.
I'm sorry, can I just raise a question from your agenda, your
Yes.
your official agenda?
Yeah.
And there is something about banking, I just wanted to be clear that I'm just understanding what issues were raised and what's been thereafter decided. It says the signatories to the banking. It's at number 9. It goes on. Could you just explain what's the background around that? It mentions the cheque signatories, Councillor Corns, Shaw, Poynton and Salt. And it goes on to just say about the control for the clerk to set up payments with 2 councillors. Could you just sort of just enlighten me?
Yeah, so basically banking within the council was being paid, the payments were done via cheque and that was countersigned by 2 councillors. And then the council, when unfortunately there was periods of illness, decided to move it online and to try and make sure that payments were still going ahead. Unfortunately, when it's gone online, there isn't, when the clerk puts a payment on, there's not 2 signatures that go on and then authorise it before it leaves the account, and that's what I'm trying to sort out here, is to make sure that we're financially secure going forward with the online banking. Does that make sense?
That was while the clerk was here. That was while the clerk was here. God.
Yeah, so to reopen the meeting, so moving on to section 5, minutes of the meeting. So if you've all received the minutes, proposal to confirm and accept the minutes of full council on the 27th of January 2026 is a true and accurate record. Any comments on the minutes first of all? No? So we'll just go through them page by page. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. Okay? Is there anyone propose them?
I'll propose it then.
Seconded.
And show hands. Thank you. Okay, clerk's report. Pretty much everything's written there, and I'm working on mainly policies and making sure that we're ready for our audit in April, and also keeping my mind on the section 10, which is new for this financial year for us to take that audit. Any comments before we move on?
Any questions? Anybody questions from the clerk? No?
Okay, so number 7, bank reconciliations. You should have all received them. So to confirm the bank reconciliation for January along with the relevant income and expenditure reports. Any comments?
I'm
going backwards, I'm afraid, for action, just the previous note on the clerk's report, and then obviously we're going into the bank reconciliation. On the basis of other changes that have gone on in the last 12 months, certainly with amounts of money having to go in various directions, I just wondered if the clerk would make comment on their thoughts on where we are in terms of our accounts. Are we in a good position or a bad position? Is our situation in terms of enterprise, are we in a good position or a bad position?
I definitely think we need to look at different income revenues and watching our general reserves and trying to make judgments that will help our general reserves to build back up. So we're not in a very bad position, but there's definitely areas of improvement, and ways that
needs for improvement.
I would say that we should be improving our financial state.
We don't seem to see that in terms of the agenda or the work that we're doing at this moment in time in that regard. Or is it that we are not aware enough of the situation that we're in?
I don't think we're in dire straits by any means. I think it's just at the minute, it's just prioritising what needs to come first. And at the minute, we need to pass audit, which is why I'm focusing more on policies and making sure we can pass audit, and then I can work on income streams and making sure that we are financially secure. We are financially secure for next year with our precepts. We just need to make sure that we're making the best decisions for the council going forward. How much we spend.
You don't know your concern. I got an
answer, is he?
I'm not happy with that at all.
No, I absolutely. So
Good for him.
want to produce the plan now to say, well,
I would just, I want to see
A strategic
taking
plan.
decisions now.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that we are secure. Because I didn't feel that sounded too good.
We are safe, but we could be a lot better with how we manage our
We
money.
were a lot better.
Before you bought the garages.
And I, as you'll know, in a previous meeting, I did put on the agenda about the way day and the strategic plan going forward, which will really help us. Unfortunately, with circumstances, we have delayed that. But that is still something that I would like to talk about, but I can't direct the council. I can advise you, but I can't say this is what you're going to do. We need to have a meeting and decide what the plan is for the next year or so.
I think we should be able to have a meeting, discuss that, which you got a serious issue, this is. Because at the moment, when I was talking about our meeting we had with an hour, and obviously said, I personally think at the time, we should have at least have a bit more than that. But obviously, majority of it decided and go, so you give the majority, because obviously, what went on previously in Louise and the vice chair and everything, we can't, because